Hey, we're sitting here today with Jim Kunz, who's LSI's resident expert on MES systems. Jim, will you tell us a little bit about your background and maybe a little bit about MES?
Sure, be glad to, Nick. I started out a few years ago in plant process and process control and worked on implementation of PLC and DCS systems. And then I got started into my first MES system. This was 25 years ago. It was a time ago. And back in those days, the real MES challenge of trying to integrate business and process control and manufacturing apps was all about technology and trying to be able to connect to different control vendors, trying to connect to different applications. And that was the real challenge back then. But we had some very successful MES applications. I moved on to the IT world and was CIO at LSI Listens for 13 years. And but 7 years ago, looking for some new and exciting challenges, moved to LSI and have had a fun time integrating MES in several different industry verticals.
Help me understand a little bit more, right? So what is MES?
MES, Nick, as I define it, is that space that sits between the process control, process machine layer and the business layer. It is the ability to provide to the operator in that manufacturing floor what he needs to do his job. And it's a range of applications. It's more about interfaces and integrations to ensure that you are supporting the strategic parts of your individual facility. I have implemented a large ERP system, and what you find is in that space, the individual modules are pretty common. A purchasing system, as it's implemented from one company to the next, isn't very different. It's pretty common functionality. But when you get into that manufacturing MES space, it is more tailored to the business, the industry, and it supports what makes that manufacturer different and competitive. And so it is not that common off-the-shelf type of application that oftentimes ERP is.
So listening to you talk, right? It's really that convergence of IT and OT, right? From the plant floor and what those guys need to do to optimize and to drive productivity.
Absolutely. The need for timely, accurate information is more important now than it ever was. And that's true of all three layers of the business layer, be it planning, costing, inventory, supply chain, be it manufacturing, understanding what the real formulation and bill of material that they're supposed to use, and then getting that information in a timely, productive way to the control system, so you've got a good closed loop there. So it is as if not more important now than it has been. I can give you an example that illustrates it. LSI was approached by a company that wanted to do a controls upgrade. They had a older batching PLC that was out of support and they needed that PLC upgrade. Well, what we did is we sat down and we had a cross-functional discussion with all parts of the organization, not just the engineering group. We had the general manager there, we had the supply chain there, purchasing, engineering, R&D that managed formulations. And we had a discussion about how they're doing some of their different manufacturing applications. And as we did this control upgrade and the technologies that we were going to use, well, we could replace that and simplify your architecture. We could integrate with this. And instead of having a set of engineering bill of materials, we could pull everything from the ERP system and eliminate that a source of error. So where it started with was that larger discussion. Initially, I just want to do a controls upgrade. But by having that kind of discussion, the way the technology enables so much today, we can address individual business and manufacturing pain points at the same time. And you turn around and now you've got several MES elements that you've implemented.
That's powerful. So you have any idea the results? You know, what did they see in increases in, I don't know, is it productivity, reduction in scrap? I mean,
it made a large difference in productivity. They eliminated several niche systems that they had, that they didn't need a small weighing system, because we all did that as part of the control system. We added wireless barcoding so that they had a validation when they would weigh out minor ingredients. The exact material was added as it should be. They had traceability of lots. They were able to achieve more productivity. Business grew, and we recently worked with them to have a second expansion within the facility. So you start where you can justify, you build on incremental gains, and it builds a momentum. And that momentum may turn into a larger MES system. It may just address the 3, 4, 5 critical pain points you had. The point is, it gives great value to the business.